7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
From Cafeteria Film Studios in Little Havana, Phresh presents Que Bola, where we talk to various movers and hustlers who are popping off and succeeding in the 305 and at the same time influencing the culture. I'm your boy D Fig. Holla at your boy when you see me in the street. Ew. So we have reached episode 50, man. What's Gucci, my Lucci? It's your boy D. Holla at your boy when you see me in the street. Ew. Episode freaking 50, bro. I'm ecstatic, you know? Even though we've hit it in the middle of a pandemic, it's all good. I don't really give a shiznit. I really want to thank everybody who has come along for this ride with me and basically talking to all the cool creatives from South Florida. You know what I'm saying? Everybody who shares, everybody who subscribes, everybody who basically like shows me love. Thank you so much, man. It's like, this feels good, you know? It really does feel good. I really want to thank everybody. In this week's episode, we got Mr. Hialeah Hillbilly himself, Ricky Valido, my dog, man. This dude is putting on as a local musician, as a local creative. He's just like all around total badass, yo. And I really tip my hat off to you, bro. I'm glad I had you as number 50. You really represent South Florida and that hustle mentality. If you guys love this podcast, if you enjoy this podcast, please share, please subscribe, please share, please subscribe. If you'd like to help me out in another way, we do have merch for sale. Right now in the back right here, you see we have a shirt for sale. It's the Bro, and Acere, and Parce, and Maje, and Zo, and Chamo. We have that merch for sale. We have other merch for sale. We have hats. We have shirts. Just holla at me through IG. I really appreciate you guys sticking through this with me, reaching episode 50. This is a big one, all right? Without any further ado, let's jump into this. Ricky Valido. Listo. All right, so we're in another episode of the Que Bola podcast. What's up, man? We're in the studio with my dude, Mr. Hialeah Hillbilly, Mr. Ricky. How you doing, man?
I'm honored to be here, man. I'm excited. I haven't done one of these before, but I'm real excited to be here. I'm real excited to talk to you.
Thank you, man. Thank you for first and foremost swinging through and spending your time with us and letting us know what's popping off in your world, how you getting it through in Miami. So tell me, man, I came across your music and your work through a friend of mine. Shout out JP.
JP, man.
Coco Design, you know.
He's my dog, yeah.
That's my dog. Sure. He was telling me about your music, about like your creative craft, all those things.
Sure.
And then I started like looking into your body of work, basically, what you've put out so far.
Right.
And I really dug it, you know. It's definitely
Thanks, man.
Local as fuck.
Right, very local. I mean, as local as Hialeah, that's where I'm pretty much based out of.
Yeah.
So I was born and raised there, and you know, I just kind of started as a hobbyist, just playing the shows, and now it's just kind of evolved. You know, I'm getting more of a response. People are starting to show up. People are starting to sing the songs back, which is a good sign. You know, and I'm doing everything pretty much grassroots. You know, it's just a small team. Myself, my dad's my road manager, and my band members pretty much. So we knock out, at least 100 to 150 shows a year. Those are small venues, big venues, larger venues. But everything is pretty much based out of what you just said, local. I'm very local. I'm pretty much inspired by everything that's, home based and kind of evolved from there.
So you from Hialeah?
I'm from Hialeah originally.
High school did you go to?
Hialeah High.
Hialeah.
Yeah.
Was that the thoroughbreds?
I'm a thoroughbred, yes, for sure.
Shout out Hialeah High.
Shout out to
a friend of mine
HHS.
actually is the assistant principal there.
Wow, that's small world, man.
Yeah, small world.
So, yeah, my dad went there, sister, pretty much almost the whole family, pretty much dating back to like my uncles, my dad,
So you have like lineage at
Hialeah High, that's for sure.
That's crazy.
But even then, they would ask me, hey man, what's up with the cowboy boots or with the belt buckle? And I would go in a class and they'll ask me, hey, are you from Texas? Are you from like Tennessee? Where are you from? And I go, no, I'm from right here. I'm from Hialeah. And it's always been a topic of conversation, I guess.
Like your dress style.
Yeah, I guess I've always leaned to the country and western style a little bit more than anything else. But yeah, the Yeezys are pretty comfortable nowadays on stage, though. I gotta admit.
So you rock
So
Yeezys?
the cowboy boots are pretty cool every once in a while.
So you saying that Kanye should make some cowboy Yeezys?
Yeah, I mean, Sturgill Simpson, he kind of turned me on to them after he talked about those on a podcast, and I had to look them up, and I tried them on, and I was like, man, these are super comfortable shoes,
Yeah.
especially if you're, doing full sets of 4 hour shows and stuff.
Yeah.
The cowboy boots kind of get, little back problems.
Yeah.
But other than that,
That's cool,
they're
man.
pretty
So
cool.
you've been rocking the whole like country vibe since you was growing up. How did you fall into the country vibe growing up in Hialeah, G? Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Miami is not very like known for its country roots. How did that come about?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a music fan. Like I listen to everything.
Okay.
But
Growing up, what was your favorite kind of music?
Growing up, just what made me gravitate to country music was pretty much like Celtic music, like stuff coming out of like Scotland and Ireland.
For
Like
reals?
hearing that the folk music coming out of there, and then transitioning a few later after falling in love with that. My grandpa actually had some old records laying in the house, and I think he had like a Johnny Cash record, a Waylon Jennings record, and it might have been like a George Jones and a Freddie Fender record. And I had my uncle put it on for me, actually play the music for me. And I listened to the lyrics and I listened to the songs, to the pedal steel, the instrumentation of the music. And I fell in love with country music right there. I was like, this is what I want to do, or this is what inspires what I want to do.
So were you originally a musician, or did country music turn you into a musician?
Yeah, I mean, my grandma bought me my first guitar when I was like 8 years old. And then I took guitar lessons and I let that go for a while and went back to it. So I've always played an instrument on and off throughout my early, childhood. But then it wasn't until high school that I started writing my own poems and songs. And then I developed my first band, the Hialeah Hillbillies.
in high school.
In high school, which, then developed into me just, performing these songs and playing them out. And I've been doing it now for about 6 years, on and off, just playing gigs and, developing from there, from just playing shows and people talking about it and coming out and telling other people. Of course, I promote myself as much as I can on social medias and stuff like that, but everything else is pretty much organic.
So it's just Ricky Valido, right?
Well, I do go by my name, Ricky Valido, and my website is rickyvalido.com. But my band is still very much the Hialeah Hillbillies.
Okay.
So it'll be Ricky Valido and the Hialeah Hillbillies.
Okay,
for sure.
That's what's up, man. So you would say you would attribute like the first artist to turn you on to country was Johnny Cash.
I would say Johnny Cash.
Yeah,
yes,
man.
just listening to his voice and his song values, the lyrics and the content, what he was singing about. The topics that he was singing about, like stuff like that really, intrigued me. And I just started going in a little deeper in the country.
Yeah.
Then I discovered like Hank Williams and of course I do listen to other genres. I pretty much listen to everything.
Have you heard that dude, Conway Twitty?
Yeah, Conway, man. Yeah. Not Kanye Twitty, but
Not
Conway. Oh yeah, man. He's great. I think he's got a great catalog of music.
Yeah,
And,
he does.
And,
He
and
has a big-ass
he's
catalog.
he's got a lot of twang and yeah. So definitely, classic country music's always inspired me. But I've been having a lot of fun just rocking things out with the band. I have a 4-piece band.
Okay.
So it's pretty much drums, bass, and I have a lead guitar.
Yeah.
And, we pretty much play 4-set show nights. Every once in a while, we'll open up for an artist if there's an opportunity to do that. But other than that, we just kind of nail it out there as a 4-piece band. And we have a lot of fun playing, a lot of the local venues around Miami and South Florida.
Yeah, listening to your music, I picked up on a lot of like bluesy soul vibe to it.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
A lot of like B.B. King. Sounded like you were like almost like singing over B.B. King. Type of
And I
music.
guess that comes from the influence of just listening to blues music and just listening to a lot of the stuff that those guys were doing back then, and adapting in a world of a lot of technology, and some things could be overdone. There's bands and artists out there that are pretty formulaic, as far as how they do their sound and everything like that. So I just kind of kept the roots mindset, like the blues, country and western, soul. Those are things that all inspire that music. So it's great to hear somebody's interpretation of what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Coming from you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I mean, it's dope the way that you put it together and you present it. Because, like, to be honest with you, I'm not a big country music fan. You know, I don't consider myself a big country music fan. But at the same time, I do consider Johnny Cash one of the best artists of all times. You
Absolutely.
know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, what really is country? You know what I'm saying? To certain people, country is like, all my exes, you know, that type of music.
Sure. Like they'll go back to more of a traditional sounds. To like the twang stuff. Yeah.
But like Johnny Cash was like, I would say Johnny Cash, A Boy Named Sue is probably like one of the first like hip hop songs like out there.
Yeah,
you know
man.
I mean, he was like legit rapping.
And that stuff came out of the soul, just soul music, and just all the trouble and real stories. I guess the realness in the music really is still connects today. It's still hard.
It's crazy that he didn't sing that. He just straight up talked it.
Yes.
He talked it over an instrumental, which is basically a rap song.
right early on rap. So
early on rap was just Boy Named Sue.
Yeah, a lot of the cadence and the vocals and everything is just
legit. He was dropping rhymes, dropping bars.
Dropping bars. You know what
I'm saying? So it's like
absolutely.
It's hard to. I mean, country music is something that is hard to define. Now, country music has expressed itself more through like a pop way. You know, it has a pop wave running through it.
And nothing against those people and those bands and artists making that music. I think that country music's at a point where there's a lot of options. There's a lot of traditional country music out there for people that want to listen to them. They just got to find the artists. There's a lot of independent artists making great music, and there's a lot of signed artists making great music too. And I think we're living through some cool times for music, period. Especially with, just a lot of the collaborations that are happening between artists, touring-wise, music-wise. So I'm happy to be part, of a time where I could continue to develop this thing and see where it goes.
That's cool, man. When that song with Lil Nas X dropped,
and
that whole controversy ensued, where were you on that side? Where were you on that discussion?
Man, I think that's really cool. I mean, I think that the whole cowboy look and the whole lyrical content of the song, if you will, I think that pretty much brought a lot of attention to like the urban cowboyish thing. And I know there's controversy behind the song and behind the performance and the videos and everything, but from my respects, I think it was a cool thing.
I mean, he put twang on a trap beat.
Sure. I mean,
basically.
And I just want to look back at this 20 years from now and see what we think, where we're at with it. But other than that, I think the way it was put together, I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have anything negative to say about it.
That's what's up, man. That's cool, man. I mean, a lot of people were like, man, that's not no hip-hop song.
Right.
But at the same time...
a lot of country people were like, that's not a country song.
So it was like, what is it? It's like its own... I mean, you know what? It's very much... I would say it is country because the way that he approached it and the way he sang it, it's the same thing as with when like grunge started within the rock community, and people were like, "That's not rock," and they were like, "This has to be something else." So they started calling it grunge, but it did spring from rock. So like this guy, he sprung from country with his twang singing.
Sure.
He just took other elements from like hip hop and other genres.
And that's cool because it always bridges. It bridges people and it bridges different, genres of music of fans that probably wouldn't normally go in and dive in that way. So, it'll be cool to drive by a ghetto and see guys hanging out with Stetsons, man.
For real.
And Cadillacs, it's like
you're like, damn, bro, this shit is crazy.
But the bridging between the genres, I think that's
and the communities.
It's definitely something positive. Yeah. I don't see any negativity behind that.
That's cool, man.
So nowadays we're just pretty much knocking a lot of local dates. We play a lot of South Florida. Mm-hmm. We've been going to Central Florida and North Florida, and we're thinking of either going back up to Nashville or to Texas later on this year to put together a recorded project.
Yeah,
which I'll be then releasing as original music.
Cool.
and probably put together my first album. That's what we're aiming for.
Nashville's the epicenter of country music.
I mean, yeah, I mean, for the most part, there's a lot of talented people in town, and there is a lot of musicians and studios and accessibility there. But I've kind of been doing it the opposite. I've kind of been just developing myself here in my home state, and then trying to go to those places and either record or set up showcases, and then bringing that back over here. So I've kind of been like more of an ambassador
Back and
of
forth.
the music, here, and then just taking it everywhere else.
Bro, you know what's crazy? We were just talking about that Little Nas X song, and you're talking about like going back and forth as an ambassador. What if you get like a reggaeton beat,
Right.
and you sing twang over it?
You know, that's
Does
not
that become like
yeah, I mean, that
country?
is, as crazy as it sounds, I mean, I think the lyrical content in the music itself and the beats and stuff, there's so much experimentation you could do with the music. I mean, I'm not opposed to it, but I think that definitely would be something interesting and
cook
just,
something
just,
up.
cook
Some
something
mofongo.
up. Some mofongo, that's right.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
dude.
some plantains with rice, right?
Yeah.
and beans for sure.
Do you experience like a lot of people in Nashville have like are cognizant of the country scene in South Florida?
I mean, I haven't been in Nashville long enough
Okay.
to pick up, that view of or kind of pick up what they sense as South Florida country music. But for the times that I go in there, they're very open and they're very well receiving. And I think that there's a big market for country music here in South Florida. I mean, especially with big events like the Chili Cook-Off that happen out here, I think once a year. But when you meet different people, there's so many people from different parts of the world there in town, in Nashville, that I think that that they're very open to it. I think it's not more of a cultural shock than when expected. Now when I play like dive bars and biker bars and stuff, and they find out that we're Latino and stuff, it's like either they're really cool about it or they make a joke out of it. But I've never had a bad experience or anything like that playing those venues. So it's been pretty cool so far for us. But
so you're what, like third generation Cuban American?
Well, let's see. My dad was born there, so
okay, so
he was
second generation.
Yeah. So he was born there.
Yeah.
My grandparents moved to Hialeah in the 1960s, and then they settled there. And then, pretty much my dad.
So through your dad's side, you're like first generation. Through your mom's side, you're second generation.
Yeah, my mom was actually born in Jersey.
Okay.
But her mom was born in Cuba as well. So yeah, so I grew up in a Cuban household. Speaking Spanish with my grandparents and family members, and I'm glad that I learned that early on, because I'm able to still communicate with my grandparents and just really listen to their stories. My family, going back to their history, they were all farmers in Cuba. They all lived in the countryside. They grew where they ate, pretty much, and they raised their own meat, their own dairy, and they lived the rural lifestyle. And the music from the islands, a lot of the folk music from, Cuba, from Puerto Rico, from the Dominican Republic, like if you listen to their folk music, it has to do a lot with the storyline of rural life and real life. Yeah. So it has to do a lot with country music in a lot of ways.
It's just Spanish country music.
Exactly. So it's just country music in a different language. Yeah. And I think a lot of people forget that there's a gap. There's a connection, actually, not a gap, but a connection between a lot of the music all over the world, Yeah. So, but country music to me serves a palette for me to say something, and it's, it gives me the ability to tell a story about, my life or other things that I feel should be said. So that's pretty much where I want my art to go. Just
cool, man.
Just go in a positive,
So you
way.
you write all your music?
I perform a lot of cover material because I do a lot of 4-set shows. So I do a lot of the bar band, like cover band circuit. But, we have over 20 originals that we do on and off and also are developing to record. So there will be a lot more original music coming
Do you
this
compose
year.
that? You write that? How does
We
that
do.
work?
I do write. I do collaborate with my guitar player a lot. Carlos Valdez.
Okay.
He actually, shout out to him.
Shout out
Yeah,
Carlos.
shout out Carlos. He actually he plays lead guitar and background vocals in my band, but he was my guitar instructor when I started off at 8 years old.
Oh wow.
So now he's actually in a band with me,
Yeah.
in a van, you know, just going back and forth throughout the state and playing shows. And so it's a blessing to have him around, and he's a good friend. And so, you know, I write a lot with him as well.
That's cool.
But everything else, pretty much, I write myself. I get ideas by, you know, either they start off as poems or they start off actual guitar. Like I start off with, like, you know, singing something out and writing it. And sometimes it just ideas that just pop out of nowhere, and I have to just go and find a napkin or whatever and just put it in there and just. So the original music is pretty much my main focus.
I mean, it's crazy where that creative like vibe comes from, you know? Like oftentimes I write music and I write lyrics and things like that, and I'll like be thinking about a hook here and there, but like I'll experience something, and once I experience it, I'll like dwell in it. Like I'll sit there and I'll like remolar in it.
Yes.
And then like sometimes I even talk to myself out loud, but people probably think like this guy's crazy as fuck. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm actually doing is I'm just like working through. I'm fleshing out that idea, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then out of that, something comes out. Something like critical or something dope, which is like, okay, that's the hook.
Yeah.
That's
and,
this.
And,
that's that.
and everybody's got a different songwriting process or a way of building a work of art.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's no right or wrong way of doing it. It's just kind of just doing it and not letting it go. Just finish it. I try to finish songs out as much as I can, and
like
because you know you're critical on yourself, obviously, for you're your worst critic.
Yes.
But then I just try to finish them anyway, and hopefully they stick around.
More or less, how long do you like? Do you like savor a song before you actually even go into the studio and say, okay, I want to try to?
Yeah, sometimes I just overthink it too much, and I'll keep songs for like a year, and then I wouldn't perform them or record them. But sometimes when I feel good about it, it's an automatic thing.
Yeah.
And now I've got my own little home studio set up, so I could pretty much go there at any time of the day or night and just lay down ideas and then re-record those ideas later on down the road. But for people that don't have the time to do that, or they don't have the equipment to do it, I just recommend just writing your best songs and recording them when you think is right and putting them out there.
That's
letting people listen to it. I think it's the best way to.
What do you use? What's your DAW?
So what I do is I pretty much use a lot of Pro Tools and stuff like that. And we have a lot of Carlos is kind of a lab rat, like a studio rat. So he's got a lot of old analog equipment laying around.
Wow.
So yeah, man, he could lay some fat tracks. Like he used to record a lot of rap and R&B and hip hop artists. And so it's pretty cool what he could do recording wise. So we have a lot of fun just laying down ideas and getting them ready for either re-recording or just to put them away as a catalog in the catalog.
And when you do your tours, right?
Right.
Do you tour throughout the entire year, or do you like have a touring season?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yes. So I've never pretty much set up a plan. It's just been kind of just evolving every year. Like every year that passes by, we do more and more shows. And again, it's just word of mouth and just being contacted by venues or contacting certain venues. We started off doing probably like 80, 90 shows a year. So that was just locally. And now we're pretty much hitting up to 200 shows a year. And that's throughout South Florida, Central and North Florida as well. And we pretty much set them up by, week to week or month to month. And you can find our touring schedule on our website, which is rickyvalido.com. And there you kind of see where we're at and where we're going. But I definitely want to aim to probably setting up some shows outside of the state or maybe even outside of the country. So we're working real hard on that. Like I said, I'm an independent artist. So pretty much I'm learning everything as I go and feeling the waters that way. And, having a lot of fun doing it.
So far, what's been like your favorite part of Florida to play?
I think Florida in itself it's got a lot of people, but it's also got a lot of different markets and different venues where country music might not be thought as the perfect fit, but it might be so different that it might be. So South Florida, like I would say Miami, I love playing here because I love playing non-traditional venues where a DJ might be set up or a different act might be set up, and they wouldn't normally stumble upon a country and western band playing honky tonk music.
Yeah.
So I like the cultural shock a lot from that. But I do love going up to North Florida. There's some beautiful state parks up there. We play the Swanee River Jam quite a bit.
Okay.
Up in Live Oak, Florida. We did a festival like maybe 2 or 3 years ago with Alan Jackson and a bunch of just huge acts, and that was like a 3-day festival, and that was pretty cool. But other than that, I love touring locally. I love the South Florida area.
What's your favorite local venue, man?
Man, I guess I would have to say Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville in Hollywood Beach.
Oh, the band show.
The band show, yeah. That room. I mean, that venue has a lot of energy, and we get a great line dancing community that go out there and they set up and they start dancing in the band from song 1 to the end, and it's pretty cool to see them, kind of do their thing. But also it's just on the beach, so you get that vibe,
Yeah, looking at that view, I've always wondered what that looks like from the stage. Looking at everybody dancing in unison and stepping.
Yeah. It's like I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty weird, but in a certain way, it's like, man, these people really got their stuff done together. Like I wouldn't be able to do that.
yeah. Stepping is a.
Yeah.
I've always wondered, how do people know what steps are for what song? Does somebody come up with that? Is there a stepping guy or something?
I've been thinking that they may be dancing to the lyrics. I mean, if you change the lyric, but I think there's definitely like a certain beat or a certain song that tells you.
But like certain
what
songs have different steps.
Yeah.
So, but who came up with the steps for that song?
Right.
You know
I understand exactly what you're saying.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Did that just spring up like out of nowhere?
Where did that come from?
Yeah, that's the official song, stepping for that song. You know what I'm saying?
And they're pretty serious about that.
What?
I mean, they're out
serious?
there. They're out there, just they're cutting a
messing
rug.
it up. They want to kick your ass right off that floor.
I've got to admit, I've tried them, but I haven't been very good at them.
yeah. That's a whole nother side of country, bro. That's like the artistic, expressive side of country.
Yeah, I guess the dance side of it.
The dance side of it.
The disco cowboy side of it, which is pretty cool.
So what other genre like really inspired you growing up? You know what I'm saying?
My dad grew me up on a lot of rock and roll, like Van Halen, ZZ Top, Molly Hatchet. My mom pretty much as well, like Duran Duran, like Bruce Springsteen. So I got a lot of classic rock. I got a lot of contemporary rock as well. But I'm from Miami in Hialeah, so I was exposed to a lot of urban music, like hip hop and just reggae, rap, and I listened to a lot of that stuff. And I think Tupac's awesome.
Tupac.
Yeah, I think he's it's got a great catalog of music. I love Run DMC. A lot of the Daft Punk stuff. I mean, there's so many things outside the country that I listen to and I love. I think I fall in love with the records. I love listening to like records from beginning to end.
Oh, instead of like songs.
Yeah, I mean, I've always kind of been weird in that way. Yeah. Like even early on, as just starting listening to music, but pretty much country and western just stems from a lot of the traditional, just going into depth into like bluegrass and like folk music and like hard honky tonk music. Yeah. That mixed with everything else that I just mentioned. Cuban music. I mean, I love Buena Vista Social Club, that whole record, like listening to the Afro and Afro-Cuban music. Yeah. Like it's fantastic.
Yeah, man, that Buena Vista Social Club record.
Yeah. That is great. Ry Cooder, man. It's just like awesome music.
Yeah. So all those are your influences.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I try to listen to as much as I can and have my mind open to different genres of music, because they all fuel what I do, and now I'm pretty much going out and having a lot of fun with the band. Just we're extending a lot of songs. We're doing more of a jam band type thing, but at the same time the songs are evolving and they're changing, and we're adding new material as we're going.
And what's been like the biggest venue you've played so far? Yeah,
I mean, the Margaritaville shows are always good. They're always a packed house, but we've done, like I said, the Live Oak show up there with Alan Jackson.
Okay.
That was a huge venue, and it was I guess there was like 10,000 people there.
Wow.
So it was an honor to just open up the festival and be in a crowd where we never experienced before, because I'm used to just playing the bars and the small venues.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a thrilling experience. Like it gives you a lot of energy, and
I saw that you also like open up for Rascal Flats.
Yeah, I mean, we did Luke Bryan and Rascal Flatts VIP party lounge.
Okay.
So it's like more of an intimate area within their concert where their fans hang out at, and we pretty much played live music for their fans at their. So that was a pretty cool experience.
That's cool, man.
So
you're like in the VIP lounge,
right,
for
music. That band.
Yeah, for that band.
Yeah. So and it's good because we get to see them play too on our breaks. We get to go out into the venue and actually enjoy some of their show. So it's been pretty cool. And I'm working on a lot of cool new shows this year, openings and just new music. And we just, any help that we could get by people just showing up to the shows, telling a friend, bringing a friend out to a show, like growing it that way is pretty much where our heart is now.
What's been like the most like learning experience so far? Like I know you're out in the band, you're out with the band on the road, and you're like in the music industry and you're learning basically through the ropes, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, what's been the biggest like experience that you've come away with a dope ass lesson?
Trying to hurry things up.
What do you mean
learning about patience and not things happening overnight for you or opportunities coming just as easy. I think learning how to say no to a lot of opportunity that might have been something that you could say yes to. Learning how to say no and learning how to make the right moves is something that I learned by myself, by trial and error, and just doing things for the right reason, not for the wrong reason. So that's kind of been the mindset, a positive one. Yeah. And it's one that I want to just continue, taking forward with me.
That's cool, man. A lot of like dealing with venues and knowing how to.
Yeah, sure. Venues, managers, promoters. Like there's a lot of stress that comes behind that.
It's a shitload of stressful things.
And then you're still trying to write music and perform and travel.
Yeah.
Luckily, my dad, he's pretty much there with me on the road, making sure we get there for sound checks and load-ins and load-outs and late nights, and sometimes we're...
He's like the drill sergeant on the squad.
Right, he's like a coach, man. So it's like a football team kind of thing, and the guys in the band are really cool. Like they're just dope guys, and they're pretty chill. And it's a good hang. Yeah. It's a good hang, for sure.
I mean, the music industry is not an easy one, man.
Yeah, man. It could chew you up and spit you right back out.
Yeah, it's a lot of pitfalls people aren't aware of. A lot of people pretending to be like genuine and helping you out, but in reality, they're just looking for other things.
Yeah, I think somebody quoted that. What's dirtier than boxing? I think they said
the music industry.
so it's pretty damn crazy, but it's true. There's a lot of people in it for the wrong reasons too. There's a lot of people making music for the wrong reasons. They're trying to make music. Yeah. But there's a lot of cool people, and I've come across a lot of positive people. I'm pretty much involved with a lot of the Relay for Lives events, so I wanted to talk about that real quick. I do a lot of charity events throughout the year as well. To build awareness for cancer research. Again, you can find that on my website, rickyvalido.com. I've got all the information on those specific shows and specific events that are related to those charities that I believe in. Yeah. I also, I've got my own merchandise that I'm putting out right now, different designs. They're all on the website as well. And pretty much any help that we could get as far as people showing up to the shows and buying our music or telling a friend, like I said, that's pretty much the stepping stone for what we're doing here.
And how long ago did you start? What would you say is your like?
I would say probably in like 2012 is when I first pretty much started booking my first couple shows.
So almost 8 years now.
So almost 8 years now. But really, I would probably say 6 years of really just playing the show, doing the labs, playing the shows. And, pretty much building it up off of that.
Wow, man. And you've been putting in your work.
Yeah, right now, I'm pretty much a state artist. I'm pretty much a local artist. But, with a lot of the building that I've been doing, I'm hoping to maybe take that out a little further as years come. And just, like I said, working on my catalog and building the songs, building the fan base, and just doing it that way.
Cool, man. Cool. So like right now you're playing a lot of covers. You're on the road. You're experiencing different things out on the road, learning the music industry by actually like getting your hands dirty and being in it from the ground up. And your next venture is you're gonna do your own EP or LP?
Probably an EP first.
Okay.
And then an LP
So
second. So it'll be two different projects essentially. It'll be a two different, kind of like two different albums.
So talk to me about that. Like, how many songs do you think will be on the EP, and more or less where you're gonna record that? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the EP is gonna probably consist of 3 to 5 songs.
Okay.
And these songs have all been in the can. We kind of recorded them as a live band, and then for the actual building of the long play of the actual album, which would probably be a 12-song album, I'm thinking about recording some stuff in Texas, and maybe recording some stuff here locally and putting all that together and releasing them as separate projects. But I think people should start expecting within this year, early next year, getting either one or both of those projects.
And the EP music is already been written out and everything.
Yeah, it's been recorded already. You know, I've actually put in the finishing touches about a month ago.
Okay. And
then we were happy with it. You know, I like what we did. It was spontaneous. It wasn't anything overthought. It was pretty much live. A lot of the live band sound. So that's going to be a separate project from the one that I'm trying to put out, which is going to have more songs and just a longer catalog.
And the longer LP, the longer play. Have you already started writing it out? You say it's gonna be like 12 songs.
That one's pretty much I would say halfway written out. I like the excitement of leaving some things half done. So when I get to the studio, I like to finish them there. So it's kind of a tactic that I've been using now, and it's been working out pretty good. So some songs are complete, some songs are like the verses and the choruses might be there, but there may be something missing. And some of them are just pretty much just bare ideas, like changes and just different things, maybe just like guitar solos, and so it's pretty much not a set way that I'm doing it, So that's the approach that I'm giving that.
Oh, that's crazy, bro. And all your focus is on the music industry and getting this rolling.
Yeah, just building this. I also am focusing on just not only bringing the music to people here, but there's so many different markets outside of the U.S. that are listening to
country music.
So I'm hoping to also incorporate some Spanish lyrics in the future, to some of the songs.
What kind of country music are like people in Latin America listening to?
Yeah, sir. So they Brazil, believe it or not, and I think Argentina and Chile are big. They have a big rodeo culture.
I mean, it's huge. Brazil's the number one producer of meat in the world. So they're like big cattle farms.
So there's big cattle farms, and there's a culture that surrounds that. Of course, the cowboys.
Yeah, the cowboy culture.
And the cowboy
like real
culture,
cowboys.
Real cowboy culture. It's like they're out there just really working. So they listen to American country music, and they listen to Brazilian. There's a Brazil culture surrounding country music in their native language. But I think that there's room for artists from here to really go over there and play those venues and play those events out there.
It's crazy because there's a big Brazilian community here in South Florida. A shitload of Brazilians out here, bro.
Yes, there is.
So, like, there's a lot of opportunities for you to be able to cross contaminate.
Yeah, and that's kind of that's really cool, like cross pollinate, right?
Yeah.
And I've always thought that was a neat idea to bridge the cultures and take this music to other people that enjoy it but may not normally get it, or not exposed to it.
I feel you.
So that's pretty much like the whole idea behind what I'm doing. I think as an artist and as a songwriter. I'm also working on a couple of just acting projects too.
Oh, okay.
I'm not supposed to leak out so much information, but if you go on my website, there's
Yeah.
going to be things that are posted about a project that I was involved in a couple months ago that's going to be put out. I think it's going to make a couple of independent film festivals and stuff like that, which the opportunity for acting has never been something I wanted to pursue 100%. But a lot of the artists that I look up to, use that as a platform to express themselves, and I started to find out that sort of like it as well.
That's cool, man.
But like I said, it's something new, something different, and
how'd you pick that up? Like, how'd you learn?
yeah, I mean, just through the music, or just I guess people finding maybe music videos of myself, and knowing that I'm an artist out there performing and stuff. Maybe they could fit me for like a small role or like something.
Have you taken
more
classes?
simple. I haven't, but I want to. I think it's good to learn as much as you can.
Yeah.
From every aspect, and Hoyt Axton, one of my favorite artists. He's from the '70s. He actually played. If you're familiar with the film Gremlins.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually played the dad of the guy in the movie.
In the first one.
Yeah, and then I found that like a couple years ago. I found out about that a couple years ago. I'm like, man, and then I listened to his catalog, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. Like there's a lineage of
I didn't know that. I didn't know he was a country
and,
music artist.
Like country music artist, like a Dwight Yoakam. Like he's in a film called Panic House.
No, I've never seen that movie.
Or something like that, and it's like, it's good to merge two things together. I think it's a fun thing, and it gives fans another option other than music, like to go see a musician or an artist that they follow do something a little different.
In a different avenue.
In a different avenue, that's right.
But
but
you're
form
still
of expression in
exactly,
different avenues.
Exactly. So. Well, I have a suggestion. One of our former podcast guests, Maria Corina, she's a really good
Look at that.
Actress, and she also gives classes locally here. So we could link. I could give you her info, man. Because,
that'd be really cool.
Yeah, she gave me some classes as well because I wanted to like learn to do a couple of things. Acting classes not only help you in acting, but they also help you in things such as this, like conducting yourself in a public manner, public speaking, things like that. It all comes from the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It all springs from the same well. So yeah, I took some classes with her, and
excellent.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, that's cool that you consider acting it as a creative form, because a lot of creatives just like hyper focus on one way to express themselves.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's other ways that you want to express yourself too. Like you got to think outside of the box.
Exactly, and you don't want to bore yourself either. Like I'm only doing this for a certain amount of time, so I want to make my time wisely.
Exactly.
Choose my time wisely and do something that what means something.
That's cool, man.
So, I also love art. I love graphic design and just everything that has to do with different parts of putting art pieces together for an album or for a tour. So I've really loved that whole aspect. So the creative aspect.
You think you're gonna do the art cover on your upcoming EP?
Yeah, man. I don't think I have the ability to do it. I'm not there yet with that, but I definitely want to do something different
at some point.
Something that says something,
Yeah.
So a piece of art where people could just open it up, and like I said, vinyl is one of my favorite formats because you get to open up a vinyl, you get to see the whole playlist, and like sometimes they'll even have posters inside. So it's a real hands-on visual and hands-on thing.
Recently I got a vinyl player. Shout out to my peoples for that. You know what I'm saying? And I've been collecting vinyl, man. I've been going to
really?
Yeah, I've been
What
doing
are some of your favorite records?
Yard sales. I got what's his name, man? Damn, you caught me on the spot. This dude with the trumpet, I forgot his name. Chuck Mangione.
Oh yeah.
I got the Chuck Mangione Feel So Good album. And I've been playing that shit crazy, dude.
Get some Ray Charles too.
Yeah,
man.
that's
Like,
pretty
good.
I got that. I mean, I got some funky music, dude. Like I've been looking for like dope vinyl and that to get like samples, and so I just be getting like I just look at crazy things. I go to like yard sales, or I'll just go to like vintage places and things like that. And
oddball places where you normally
places, yeah. And there's actually this one place called Oddballs up in Fort Lauderdale.
Cool, man. That's a coincidence. That's crazy.
That shit was I just went over there this weekend.
Sweet,
Oddballs
man.
in Fort Lauderdale.
Shoot.
They did they resell a bunch of crazy shit. So yeah, man, I've been collecting vinyl, man, and that vinyl experience is different, man. It's completely different from like
it just
the digital
everything
thing, you
sounds
know?
so much warmer.
You have something in your hands.
And yeah, and the music quality itself to me it's presented in a warmer template. You know,
Yeah.
it's
comes
really,
across.
really cool. Yeah, and like you said, you know, thrift shops, like pawn shops, like you've come across different vinyls that are pretty much something you wouldn't normally think you would listen to, but you put it on and it's like, you know, I could get into this, like this because they're great.
And a lot of music that hasn't made it to digital yet.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy that some of the songs out there's records out there that probably never will see.
Yeah, it probably won't see digital. They won't get digitized.
Yeah, I still have tapes from my mom. Still has a 1977 Camaro, and it still has a tape. You know, like a cassette player. Yeah. And I went in the car the other day and I found all these old tapes like from Prince and like, you know, Throwback. Elvis and like, you know, it's cool to see even hold that in your hand and that's what people were rocking to at that time.
Yeah, for real.
That was their jams.
That was their jams,
and they still sound great today. So
for real, rest in peace, Prince, bro.
Yes,
epic
for sure.
Truth, he was the truth.
Yes,
one of the best of all times. So, man, thank you so much for coming on, bro.
Thank you for having me, man.
If people wanted to, like, reach out to you,
sure,
want to, like, see your tour dates, do you have anything coming up here in South Florida soon?
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much hitting the road now 3 to 4 times a week.
Okay.
We're starting off this weekend at the Redland Golf and Country Club in Homestead, Florida.
Down south.
Yeah, deep down south.
Yeah, that's where I'm from.
Oh man, that's sweet. So I'll be playing your neck of the woods, and it's gonna be at the Redland Golf and Country Club. This Friday, I believe, is the February 28th, if I'm not mistaken, 2020, and it's going to be at 6:30 p.m. And it's a whole night of country music, so we'll be playing 4 sets out there. Then the following day, on the Saturday, we'll be playing at Cutler Bay Sandbar, a festival called Sandbar Palooza, where they're going to have like 10 to 15 different bands. I'm scheduled to play at 6 p.m. time slot. Then after that, we'll be in Hialeah Park and Racing Casino in Hialeah, my hometown.
Hialeah.
Yeah, for sure. 305. That show starts around 8:30 p.m. So we have three back-to-back shows this weekend. So
that's cool, man.
More than welcome to come out and hang out.
For sure, bro. You just said Hialeah. What you think of Otto?
What's that?
Otto Von Schirach's.
Oh, man.
Have you heard of
No,
Otto?
no. Fill me in.
Oh, okay. Otto Von Schirach, a bass god out of Hialeah, man. He plays Churchills. He's like, he's very well known within the bass scene. You know what I'm saying? I thought you had come across him.
I'm a huge fan of bass, so I'm gonna definitely check him out.
Yeah, he's a straight up Hialeah native.
Wow, that is awesome. A lot of great talent come out of that area. I met Casey from Casey and the Sunshine Band last night.
Too.
Yeah,
I heard that. Yeah.
And you know, just in South Florida in general, there's a lot of great art, and music coming out of these areas.
What's your IG? Where can people follow you on IG and stuff
my
like
IG
that?
is just Ricky Valido.
Okay.
You know, they could also follow me on Twitter. My handle is also Ricky Valido. I've got music on all digital platforms, Spotify, Apple Play. Everything's out there on the website. And I'm just, you know, going to continue releasing more content, more video, more audio, more tour dates. We're focused on the live performance a lot, so we're hammering a lot of shows this year, and hopefully next year as well.
Well,
and
bro,
thank you so much for letting me talk about my music and my life a little bit on your podcast.
That's
it's an honor to be here with you.
Thank you, my G. Thank you for coming through, man. Expressing yourself, letting us know how it's popping off in your world. You're a creative from South Florida. You know, we represent all the creatives down here in whichever medium they're going, and you're going about it in music, in the country music line. And I congratulate you, man. Keep doing your thing, fam. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you blow up and you get to that next level. You get to play stadiums. You know what I'm saying? I hope one day I get to see Ricky Valido playing the stadium.
Dream, man. Yes. You know what I'm saying? That'll be a cool experience for sure. And
just don't forget me on that backstage pass.
Man. We'll be chilling, man. We'll be hanging out. I think we'll be just another gig with a bigger audience and just have fun and hang out with good friends. So
that's what's up, my G. Thank you so much for coming on the Que Vola podcast. Until the next time, if you guys like it, you know what it is, Que Vola podcast. Subscribe, share it with your friends. If you hate it, share it with your enemies. Just share this, all right? Hasta la próxima. Peace. And that's one for the history books. Episode 50, Ricky Valido, Hialeah Hillbillies. You know where to get in contact with him, how to reach out to him, his website, rickyvalido.com. Thank you so much, Ricky, for coming and sharing your story, sharing with us how you popping, how you doing it for South Florida, and how you doing it for creatives in general. Everybody who stuck with me, everybody who has come along for this ride, thank you so much once again. Episode 50, big one. Yeah, holla at your boy when you see me in the street though, for real though. It's your boy D, holla. Peace.